So thank you everyone for coming today. My name is Brandon Grant. I'm the marketing director here at QuoteWerks. Today we're just going to be doing a short demonstration about QuoteWerks and how it integrates with ConnectWise and the IT distributors. How can you use it to streamline the creation process of your sales quotes and proposals? For the overview today, I'm just going to do a very short PowerPoint presentation, just a couple slides to familiarize some of you that may not have seen QuoteWerks in the past, kind of what it does and some of the key features. We'll discuss some of those resources, and then we'll do a demonstration of some of the major features. So let's go ahead and get started. So what is QuoteWerks? Is a sales quoting and proposal generation solution. That basically means we help automate the creation of your sales quotes and proposals. We have about 84,000 users currently in over 100 countries. And it's really designed to help just streamline the process of that creation. One of the biggest features of QuoteWerks is the integration with ConnectWise and the IT distributors so that you can receive your integration information from the IT distributors and also pass along seamlessly the information that you have currently in QuoteWerks to ConnectWise so that when you're creating documents, your opportunities are being updated and your pipeline is always up to date with kind of what's going on the sales team. So we get a question a lot of who uses QuoteWerks, like if it would be a good fit for them. Basically, if you're quoting out products and or services, then QuoteWerks can be a great fit for you. We're a line item quoting solution and allows us to create simple one-page quotes to multiple page proposals. We support recurring revenue such as software as a service and hardware as a service. We also have a lot of IT-specific integrations, including in the ConnectWise Manage with Connect Booster, the IT distributors like Tech Data, Ingram Micro, Synnex, D&H, Amazon, and more. So it provides a lot of functionality at a really affordable price. And the best part about it is it's a really easy-to-use software, which I'll demonstrate here in just a couple minutes. So the integration with ConnectWise is actually very powerful. We utilize the APIs that are available to us from ConnectWise, so they're public APIs. And this allows us to, when we're creating our documents on our side in QuoteWerks, we're able to automatically send this important data into ConnectWise so we can create and update opportunities, schedule follow-up calls and reminders, tickets, sales orders, and even purchase orders inside of ConnectWise. Even transfer the line item information directly from QuoteWerks to ConnectWise. Back into the QuoteWerks, when we're delivering them, we do have layouts and templates available so you can send out uniform quotes and proposals. They're all fully customizable and fairly easy to do. So I have the ability to attach additional documentation such as contracts and warranty and spec sheets and that type of information. We're also able to send the document to the customer electronically so the customer can actually sign off on the document and even make payment. So if you accept credit card or ACH, you can actually have your customer pay directly through the quote that's been sent to QuoteWerks. And then we can even place the order directly with the distributors. And there's even a full reporting capabilities in QuoteWerks as well, if you want to use that in conjunction with what you already have in ConnectWise. So the workflow for QuoteWerks is going to be pretty straightforward. This is what we're going to follow today when we use our demonstration. We're going to select the contact, select our items and add them to the document, make any adjustments. Then we'll deliver the document to the customer. They can sign off on it. Customer can then accept payment. And then we'll update the opportunity in ConnectWise, which will then allow us to get ready to process this order inside of QuoteWerks. We can then place the online order with the vendors and then send that PO to QuickBooks or Sage 50 or even ConnectWise. And we can even track that order to delivery and fulfillment. We have a ton of resources on the website. So if you do have or want to see something, specific feature in action, we have videos available for you. We also have the help available, which is basically the QuoteWerks user manual. We have webinars, we have users forum, which is a great place to interact with other QuoteWerks users. And as always, you can get us by email and phone. Feel free to give us a call or send us an email. We're always happy to answer any questions. For those of you that are new to QuoteWerks and haven't checked it out, there's a free trial available on the website. It's fully functional. You can test out the integration with ConnectWise and QuickBooks and Sage 50 if you want. You can test out the distributor integration, and we do offer free support during the trial. So If you have questions or need help getting anything started or set up, we're always happy to help. All right, so wasn't too bad, just a couple slides just wanted to get through. So let's go ahead and get started with a demonstration of QuoteWerks. So I'm going to switch screens here and get over to QuoteWerks. So this is going to be the main screen in QuoteWerks. What we're going to do is just kind of follow the workflow that we talked about. So at first, we're going to start on the Sold To, Shipped To tab and click on our magnifying glass. This is where we can search for ConnectWise contacts. You can search by company name, first name, last name, or phone. So I'm just going to search by Aspire, click on the magnifying glass. This will return back my results. And once you've located the contact that you want to document, you can click on the Sold To, Shipped To, or Billed To, click all to populate that contact across all three. Important, whoever you pull in the Sold To is the primary contact opportunity for in ConnectWise. So if I select, we'll just select myself here into my Sold To, it'll automatically pull that contact information directly into QuoteWerks, and I can populate it across all three fields if I'd like. Now that I have my contact information in here, I can move forward with building my document. So we're going to go back to our document item screen. This is where you'll spend most of your time in QuoteWerks. This is where we're going to build our actual document. In QuoteWerks, we have the ability to organize our document into different sections. This is what we call section headers. So if I right-click and choose Insert Section Header, I can put in a description for this section header. It could be as simple as what I'm going to do, which is just going to be hardware. And I'm going to right-click again and choose Insert Section and add one for services. And we'll right-click one more time and add one for optional items. And we'll just delete this extra line here. But they can be whatever you like. If you're doing a proposal for maybe multiple rooms or multiple projects and you want to call it like room 1, room 2, or phase 1, phase 2, or maybe it's going to be the one-time items versus the recurring items, or maybe it's going to be all recurring items, so you want to break it out by monthly, quarterly, annual, however you want to use the section headers. They're just they're easily utilized, just clicking and adding them to the document and then calling them whatever you'd like. You could skip this step completely and just go straight to looking, which we'll do next. So if we click the next icon window here, this will show us a list of the product databases available. The first thing I'm going to show you is Utilize, and this is where you would search for items from like Tech Data, Ingram Micro, Synex, D&H. Basically, it's the best way to kind of think of it as like a Google search. Whatever you type in this Utilize search window is what's going to return. So if I type in something very generic like Trip Light Switch, it's going to return back quite a few results, in this case 618 items. But what I can do now is similar to the distributors websites, I can narrow down based on categories, manufacturers, and features and attributes. So for example, if I choose KVM switch boxes, that'll narrow my search results down to 132 items. If I then wanted to narrow it down even further, because even though that's good, it's not quite as far down or as easy to navigate as I want to be, I could go into like the product family here, and you can see all the various product families that are available. And if I click on Net Commander, that'll actually narrow it down to 11 items. So much more manageable, much easier to do. And then to get pricing and availability on item, you simply select one of the items and click on the little lightning bolt here. And this will go out and get pricing for this item based on your credentials. So it's going to be your pricing availability across all 4 vendors at one time. So D&H, Synex, Ingram Micro, Tech Data. And then when you select one of them, it'll actually show you the warehouse availability. So none of the warehouses actually have it, but you can get it essentially drop shipped from Tech Data here. So they have a, so I'll probably source this one from Tech Data. I can also reference the pricing from CDW, Amazon, and Dell by clicking on this little icon. And I'll actually go out and see if any of those others are carrying it. It looks like CDW's consumer price is about $3,100. So that's good to know. That gives me a good kind of starting point for where I want to price this particular item. So I'll go ahead and make my selection by double clicking on it. And then I can change my quantity here on this Add Item Assistant window. I could also adjust pricing. So if I wanted to say, you know what, I want a 15% margin, I can do P15. If I just wanted to sell it for maybe $3,000, since I know the kind of going rate is about $3,100, I can do that. You can also check price history. So if I've ever sold this particular item to this specific customer, I can actually click on the price history here, and I'd be able to see what I sold just to them previously. So I've never sold this particular item to this customer. Now, maybe I gave someone a good deal on this customer on this item last week, and I want to give this customer the same deal. I can use the price history for this item, and if I had sold it previously, I'd actually be able to see customer price, the dock date, the cost, the modifier, all that information. So it's a nice, easy way to stay consistent in your pricing. And then when we're ready to add it to the document, we can utilize these section headers. So I can say, okay, this is a hardware item. It's added under hardware. Click add, and it adds it into the hardware section for me. The accessories tab is incredibly useful, makes it really easy to attach optional or additional items that may be necessary or at least a good idea to include with this quote or proposal. It'll be broken down into categories. So for instance, if I wanted to choose like connector cable and get pricing on this cable here, we'll load our pricing and availability, and then I can choose which vendor I want to source it from. So in this, Synnex has the best pricing and they have it in stock. So I'll double click on Synnex and we'll say we need 3, and we'll just add it as an optional item on our document. Click, and I'll add it under our optional section there. Similar items and upsell items will allow you to add additional items that may be similar in functionality, and also upsell items if they are more feature rich, but also typically more expensive. So those are great tabs to use if you're going to use like a good, better, best kind of deal. And then the spec sheet tab will allow you to see the technical specifications of this particular item. So if you want to include it as part of the quote or proposal, you can easily do that. Now, in addition to Utilize, we also have access to the ConnectWise product list. So if you maintain your items in ConnectWise or just have items, products, or services that you are maintaining in ConnectWise, we can easily pull from there. So for instance, if I type in the word Cisco, this will search in ConnectWise for any items that have Cisco in the description. And then I can make my selection. So if I have a couple items that I want to select, we'll just select these 3 items here, and we'll go ahead and we'll add them to the quote. Those will be added to the quote for me. Additionally, if you want to maintain your own list of products and services, we can support that as well. So I have a list of some products and services here. So if I wanted to select a couple service options, and we'll add a couple more items to our document, we can easily do that. So you can go through, you can do a search for items, or if you see a list, you can go through and you can add multiple items to your document at one time. Once you have your items on the document, if you need to make any adjustments or move things around, we can absolutely do that very easily. So I see I have some products that I need to kind of move around. So let's go ahead and highlight those. And then we'll go ahead and let's drag all of these up there, get these under that section. And then we have our 2 services here. Let's move those under our services, and then we'll leave our optional items as we have them. So even as you're going through and selecting a lot of items and building your document, it's really easy to kind of maneuver them around the document. Now our optional items here, we want to actually mark them as optional. So what I can do is highlight them and then right click and choose Edit Line Attributes. And this will let me set my line attributes for these particular items. So I want them to be optional and is selected me included in the total. If you leave it unchecked, they'll show up quote or the QuoteValet document, but they won't be included in Connect Opportunity since they're not technically included in total. For our example, I'm going to go ahead and include it, but you do have the option to not include it. Maybe it's something that the customer doesn't really need or isn't going to purchase. And then we have other options like hiding prices. So if you're selling items in groups or bundles, you can choose not to show the individual prices. If you just want to maybe subtotal items out, we can do that as well. If you don't want to print individual items because you're grouping them, it's a great functionality also. And if you have any items that have pictures associated with them, you don't want those to print as well. We can also mark items as recurring. So click OK. Let's go to our monthly monitoring charge here. And we can see my monthly monitoring charge as billing cycle monthly, and then the cycle basis is a specific date. Include the first payment in the document total, and then I can actually set my contract date. So if I wanted to say, okay, this is going to start maybe next week, and it'll go next week for a year, I can actually set those dates for that specific item. And then if we go to our quarterly check-in, maybe we'll say it's going to be, this one's going to start a little later in the month, and it'll go for a year also. So you can actually specify your dates for any of your recurring items, and these dates will actually carry over and push into ConnectWise as well. So once you've made your changes to your document, we simply need to save our work. So we're going to click on the Save icon. Save will let us adjust the document name. So if we want to call this maybe like our gold package, we can do that. QuoteWerks will assign the document number. We'll assign a status, typically open. but if you want to change that terminology, you can do that. And then if you want to set the project number, we can do that as well. So if you have multiple quotes for like the same project, maybe different phases of it, we can do that. We can assign them together so you can report on them. Down here, you'll see this is where the ConnectWise integration options are available. So you can choose to, if you want to create and update the sales opportunity, create and update the link document, which is like a copy of the quote. If you want to create a follow-up activity. So follow-up activity would be if you want to create like a reminder or a call or something like that. And then if you want to create a one-off activity, it's just another follow-up activity, just let you do more than one. And then if you want to create a service ticket, this will give you the option to create a service ticket at this point. I'm going to leave this unchecked because there's going to be another opportunity for you to create service tickets. But if you did want to create a service ticket at any point with the opportunity, you just need to simply check that box. So we'll go ahead and we'll click OK. And this will bring up our opportunity window, and then we'll have the option to link to an existing opportunity, or we can create a new one. So we'll go and we'll create a new one. Our opportunity name is going to be our document name, so our document name plus the QuoteWerks quote number. We can set our type, and this is all pulling from ConnectWise. So basically from the type fields down are all fields already set in ConnectWise, so these would be what you have available in ConnectWise to select from. And then we can set our description if we'd like, status, close date, sales stage. So if we want to say maybe quoted, source, campaign, location, business unit, sales rep. If there's an internal sales rep that you want to assign to this document, we can assign that too. And then if you want to include the revenue in your total forecast, we can set that. And then if you want the line items to write over at this point, we can do that. If you'd rather wait until the customer actually commits so you don't have a bunch of line items that are never going to be sold in ConnectWise, you could leave this unchecked. For our example, I'll go ahead and check this, and we'll go ahead and we'll click Save. That'll create our new opportunity, and then it's going to start writing our information over to ConnectWise, and then it's going to prompt us to create our new activity in ConnectWise here, and we're just attaching the document. So this is going to be the activity. So if I wanted to select, let's say we're going to do a call, and it's going to be for Mike, and he's going to do it on the 8th. You can do that. We can even specify a time. You can even put it in the script. You can even put in a date timestamp and some notes about the call. Maybe you're going to be out of the office. You need someone to do this on your behalf. You can do that, and then we'll just hit Save. That'll actually write that in there. All right. So we've written everything into ConnectWise. We now have a great shortcut inside of QuoteWerks to get directly to this opportunity if we want to view it. Simply open up that quote in QuoteWerks and click on the Links tab, and you'll see we have a link to not only the opportunity, but any activities. If we had created a ticket, there'd be an option for a ticket here, and also the contacts. When we click on View the Opportunity, select us directly to this opportunity in ConnectWise, access to it. So once the opportunity loads in ConnectWise, view it. So if we needed to view anything or just make it came over correctly, we can. And we can see we have our line item information in our forecast, and our services and our products are available. Our products right over to our products tab as well. We'll also have attachments, so a copy of the QuoteWerks quote. We'll also include a PDF document of the quote. When we send this to the customer, we'll automatically attach it to this attachments tab here, so that if someone doesn't have access to QuoteWerks, but they need to view what was sent to the customer, we'll have that available. So everything looks good. So let's go ahead and get this ready for the customer. So we're going to click on our deliver icon here, and then we're going to go through and build our document. So we're going to select our cover page if we have one, and then our layout, and then we're going to include a solution summary since this is a new customer. And then your literature tab would typically be like your contracts, your service agreements, warranty information, anything that you send out on a regular basis, you can include as an attachment here. So I'll include this as a support agreement. And then as always, good idea to preview, just make sure everything looks good before we send it out to the customer. So this is a copy of the PDF, what it's going to look like. So we have our cover page here, kind of an introduction about the company. And then we get into our line item information, some detailed information about our products that we're selling. And then we have our solution summary page, where we're actually breaking down for them what their initial total is going to be, what the service and labor is going to be, subtotal, and then any tax and what the grand total will be. And then anything that's going to be billed monthly or quarterly, that's broken out for them as well, so they can easily see that in QuoteWerks, and then they'll also have a copy of the order agreement so that they can sign off on that. So that's good. Let's go ahead and close out of here. We're going to go and this document to the customer. We're going to send the document to the customer via QuoteValet. QuoteValet is our online delivery tool for QuoteWerks. So this will allow us to send an electronic copy to the customer so that they can actually sign off on this document in real time. So they can actually click on this link here in the email. So you'll see there's no attachment. We're just sending this link. And if we click on this link, I'm just going to copy it out here. And we go back to our web browser, paste the link here. You'll see this will bring us to the QuoteValet page, and you'll receive email notifications when the customer views the quote. If they make any changes, if they post comments, if they accept it, if they make payment, you'll get notifications for that. QuoteValet also includes a link to the PDF, so they have a copy of that. So if there's terms and conditions or agreements they need to be aware of, they'll have access to that. And then one of my favorite features in QuoteValet is that the document becomes dynamic for the customer, where they can actually say, okay, you know what, I don't want this option. I'm going to uncheck it, click update, and it'll actually update the total in real time. So we'll uncheck that. They can then select their payment option. Do they want to pay by credit card? And these are the credit cards that are supported. Or do they want to make payment by ACH? We'll select, credit card, and then we can sign off on the document, so agree to the terms and conditions. If you have any comments, we can sign off on that and sign my document here, and then click to accept. And this will bring us to the acceptance screen, where if you are accepting credit cards or PayPal, a Pay Now button will be available. So we can click on Pay Now, and that'll bring them to the payment screen where they can enter in their payment information. Or if they want to select a different payment option, they'll have the ability to do that, and they can actually kind of go back and forth. If you need to let them just make a deposit first, we do accept partial payments as well, so they can do that. So once the customer has signed off on the document, QuoteWerks will then prompt you to convert this quote to an order. So when we click on the QuoteValet tab to check the activity history here for this document, we'll actually see that the quote was accepted. So we'll see the customer accepted the quote, they viewed the payment request page, we'll click OK. And when we convert this quote to an order, this will automatically update our opportunity in ConnectWise. So what it's going to do is anything that's changed on the document, so the customer has actually deselected one of the optional items, so we're going to update that opportunity, and this will also give you the opportunity to update the ConnectWise opportunity with any changes or add any notes if you'd like to. Maybe we'll change this to committed since I haven't paid yet. We'll include the other information that's already in there. Then we'll also have the option if we want to create tickets at this point. So if we want to create a ticket for, let's just say, one ticket for products only, and then if we wanted to create an agreement from the opportunity, we have that option. If we want to create a sales order from the opportunity, we could do that and simply click Save. And that will update the opportunity in ConnectWise. So it's actually going to go through, and before it converts that opportunity to one, it's going to remove the item that was deselected from the opportunity so that the opportunity and the document in QuoteWerks match. That way your pipeline is always matching with what's in QuoteWerks is always available in ConnectWise as well. So after we update the opportunity as one in ConnectWise with the right items, and if any of the items prices had changed before we did this, that'll be updated as well. In this case, we'll be prompted to create a new ticket for this particular group of items. And this will use the defaults that you've set, but if you want to change any of them, you'll have access to do so. And then if you have any kind of information, you want to call this our items for ticket, we can do save, and then that'll create that new service ticket in ConnectWise, and you'll have access to that. If you had the checkbox to create the sales order, QuoteWerks will create the sales order for you as well. And if you wanted to create the agreement for any of those items, you'll have that access as well. Now that this quote has been converted to an order, you will also have the access to convert this to actually place the order with the distributors, going by the purchasing icon here. So when you click on the purchasing icon, this will bring you to the purchasing window where you can actually batch orders. So if I wanted to place an order from, I think Tech Data was the one we used, we'll actually set our vendor to Tech Data, and we can select a few items, click Create PO, and then you'll actually have the option to export this document over to ConnectWise. So if you're using the ConnectWise procurement module and you want to be able to have QuoteWerks automatically create POs in ConnectWise, we can do that. We'll even update them with like the serial numbers when those come through from the distributors. So as long as you're placing orders with like Tech Data, Ingram Micro, Cinex, or D&H, we can do that. And once you're done, you're pretty much done with this document in QuoteWerks, and you can move forward with your normal process at this point. So thank you everyone for coming today. I do see there are questions, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and answer those questions. Any of you that are still here do not have any additional questions. Again, thanks for attending, and definitely feel free to download the full functioning trial. Be happy to answer any questions for you.